We are about to start. Sit back and relax. Hope you enjoy.
So, welcome everyone. This is the Natural Sentient podcast, and I'm today with Kerry Cassidy from the project Camelot, portal.com, and we are here in the UK at the Awake and Aware conference in Watford, London. It's like, which day is today? Even I'm forgetting.
This is Sunday.
Yeah, so, and I feel such a blessed and honored to have Kerry with me today. So, wow, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For this opportunity. I'd like to ask you, how do you feel about this conference?
Oh, it's fabulous. I have to say, we have a wonderful list of speakers, and everyone we've had. This is the second day, so we're halfway through the second day, and we've already had wonderful speeches this morning, and now we're going to have two other speakers this afternoon. And I know them well, so I know they're going to do a wonderful job. And yesterday was excellent, so yeah, it's really a wonderful conference.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so amazing energy, and I really love your presentation that you had a wonderful presentation yesterday about the return of the Anunnaki, the children of Kerr. So it was really so much enlightening, and you brought so much intel about the current situation, and so I appreciate it. What would you like to mention something about it?
There's so much to talk about with having to do with the return of the Anunnaki and how that might affect our world. So there's a lot of Sumerian tablets that are now being translated, maybe with the help of AI. And so there are videos being made, quite a huge number of them. And they are translating tablets that have been hidden for sometimes 5,000 years. So this is most incredible. And the information on the tablets is very specific and very wonderful, because it's telling people how the Anunnaki think, what their plans are for the future, what they have thought is coming in the future, why we've had cataclysms at periodic times throughout history, what they kind of mean. It's actually talking a lot about humans and our world, and then correcting a lot of misconceptions out there. So it's an investigation I'm on right now. I go through different investigations, and I talk to people when possible, get whistleblower testimony, etc. And so it's a really fascinating investigation.
Yeah, so I invite everyone to check Kerry's Substack, right?
Yes.
And your website, projectcamelotportal.com, where you can find all the articles and all the work and the links to your books.
Thank you.
So, I'd like to ask, how it feels to be when we are here in the UK, how it feels to be here in the UK now and when you were here before. If you notice any changes, when we talk about from energetic standpoint.
I don't really think there's a lot of changes. I think behind the scenes, I read about changes that are going on in your government, more restrictions that they're trying to pass, even with freedom of speech in particular. Sometimes I wonder if at some point I won't be able to come here because your freedoms will be so limited that I won't be able to have such a conference as I am today, because we speak very freely about controversial subjects and have a wonderful reception out there. So they leave us pretty much alone, because this is a small manor house. It is limited to 125 people. So I think that we are getting under the radar. And that is actually helping the situation for us at the moment. What might happen in the future, I don't know. I even came here during COVID and did my conference when I was able to. There was a year or two when it was difficult because Britain had restrictions even that we didn't even have in America. But nonetheless, so we're out of all of that here now, and this is a gorgeous place to be. It's a beautiful forest surrounds this manor house, as you can see, and what can I say? It's so we're in the middle of nature, but we also have a very quiet area. We are not listening to the sounds of the city or any of that stuff. So it's a great venue. It has high ceilings. It's rather old-fashioned, of course, but the acoustics are lovely. So that's also very nice. The vibe is really good. They're like-minded people coming together to share knowledge and information. So it's great.
Yeah, energy here is amazing. I mean, everyone is bringing so much knowledge, so much experience. This sharing is just wonderful. You know how I appreciate this a lot, that we can actually gather together. You know, because usually we connect through the virtual space, through base that we are all around the world. So and this is just like amazing that we can meet in person and you as well. So it's like just this contact, personal contact, is priceless as well. So it's like wow. And we are in Europe. So what's the difference, like when you compare? You come from California, so like how does it feel, what's going on here in Europe and in US?
Well, at least from my perspective, when I come to England, I don't think so much is like Europe. Okay, so I think England and Europe are quite distant from each other in a certain way. But I love Europe and I love the UK. There are things about your politics that I don't really like, and I just hope it will improve in the near future, such as more freedom of speech. There's some crazy arrests going on. There's also, there's a lot of governments that are acting in certain ways. I think a lot of things are staged to make it appear that people are more against each other than they really are. I have no problem. We go on the subway here and have had no problems going around the city, but I hear stories that are kind of desperate about some things in England. And I guess that rest might be true of Europe, but it's hard to say because over this past year, there have been changes, for example, in France, and lots of demonstrations in France. And I love France, but I think that the Macron regime has been a problem. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I also know that they've cracked down on various freedom of speech as well in France. And so it makes it so I'm not completely convinced I'll be able to go to France and be treated, fairly and like anyone else, because I am an investigative journalist. But I think sometimes things go into more restrictive mode, and then it'll flip back and it'll become more permissive again. So I'm concerned about that. But I plan to travel after this into Europe, to a Greek island for a vacation. And so I fully expect to have a lovely time, and I've done this in the past and it's always been great. So
yeah, that sounds great. So you mentioned that your project. So can you please share with us, what are you working on now? What are your ongoing projects? What would you like to share with the audience?
Well, as I say, I'm investigating the releases of the Sumerian tablets, information that's been hidden for sometimes 5,000 years, sometimes 3,000 years. And I'm now finding out that there are cultures that were here on the planet fully developed human cultures that came from eventually off the stars, out in the stars. So we've had more than just the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki would have you believe that they created us, but they didn't. Not only were there hominids, but there were also other cultures, apparently, that were already here, had established civilization here, had established cities, amazing architecture, mathematics, you name it. In other words, the Anunnaki sort of inherited a lot of that and then pursued it in their own ways. And human society went along those ways. We always tend to think our human society started in Sumer, but it didn't actually. It started before that. And what appears to be, perhaps, at least according to the work of Ashiana Dean and the guardian races that she downloaded the information from them, we have actually had not just humans, but beings from other planets coming here for eons and establishing settlements and civilizations, with, again, high level thought and mathematics and, societal organizations and such. So this is not new. It's been going on this planet for much longer than we've been told. There's a lot of secrecy about our origins. I always like the saying that Bob Dean said, which is that we come from the stars and we will return to the stars. I think that's very true. I think humans and humanoids mainly come from Lyra in this system, from my understanding, and that is, a common, I guess, place of origin. That includes where the Pleiadians also came from, that are humanoid, and the Anunnaki originally. This particular group of Anunnaki were a breakaway from the Pleiadians, and they settled Nibiru, and then they were invaded by the Draco and reptilians. So they are hybrids. They're a hybrid race. We are hybrids, and we've also been invaded by the reptilians and the Draco, going back in history, as well as gray ETs, mantids. There's so many different races. So when you say my investigations, I'm always investigating this story. I'm investigating where we came from, piercing through the lies that we've been told about our origins and about humanity in general, and trying to uncover the areas where secrecy is rampant. Right now, of course, UFO secrecy about the alien visitation. From my point of view, aliens are not demons. They're just like us. The creator had a role in their emergence as a race or group of beings. So I think it's better to have a more open-minded view than to categorize a whole huge number, and there are huge numbers of various alien races. We call them alien, or we call them ETs or off-planet, or from inner Earth, or ultra dimension, or interdimensional. In other words, space travel is always interdimensional, so that's nothing new or rare. It's how we do it. We don't go through the belts. We basically have jump in space, and this is known. And so the technology, the free energy, all of that is available to us and becoming more and more utilized. I believe that our airplanes are actually fueling themselves in part with a combination of old technology and new, so that they're using free energy to fly a lot of our even passenger planes at this time. I think that there is still a huge secrecy, like a line of secrecy below which most people don't want to go.
Yeah.
So my work is to, again, pierce through the veil and to reveal to everyone things that even people may already suspect, but to actually, explain in more detail and bring it forward through the testimonies of whistleblowers, but also, aliens that connect through people like Ashanadine. And I myself have been in touch with the guardian races. I went to India with her group, and I found that I was getting downloads while we were, driving around and from site to site. I'm very interested right now also in Uri Geller and what appears to be the nature of reality, the fact that he was in touch with an ancient AI group that ended up to be called the Nine. That goes back to the 1970s. Back in those days, they didn't use the term AI, but they called themselves computer intelligences or something. But obviously, that's AI. So I just got done reading a book called The Mystery of Uri Geller, written by his former partner, Andrija Pluharik, and he's unfortunately passed on, so we can't really interview him or talk to him at this time, but the book is excellent, and I do highly recommend it. I am trying to get in touch with Uri to do an interview. I think that there was a lot of misunderstandings in the 70s about the abilities of AI because they didn't really understand what was going on. And a lot of alien races have developed AI. According to Captain Mark Richards, one of my top whistleblowers that I've written, 2 books of interviews that I did with him called Space War, available on Amazon. And he said that any spacefaring race develops AI before they go into space. So I think that that's probably a good basis by which to understand that aliens also are using AI. All right, and they, in some cases, they are, if they're androids, for example, they may be basically have an AI intelligence. Okay. And then as AI is going to be linked with the quantum, which is happening right now in real time on Earth, that is going to expand the AI, the human-derived AI, which is probably based on alien technology anyway, reverse engineered. But bottom line is that the bringing in of the quantum physics with the AI is going to expand the horizons of what we have so far with our AI. So there is alien AI. It doesn't live in a box. It travels, across, expanses of space. And in some cases, it's brought here by the alien races. And in some cases, it is its own sort of, I guess you might say, master and intelligence. And it just comes here it could come in the form of nano. It can come, I believe, in the form of riding on an Oort cloud or a race of beings as part of that race of beings, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for sharing, Kerry.
Yes.
And thank you for finding time for this.
Sure.
For this conversation. So, my last question would be related to the conference. What's your favorite talk so far?
Well, I can't say what's my favorite talk. I mean, I really think they're just so fabulous. And I hope that everyone liked my talk. They seem to have a really good reception for that as well. But first of all, we have 2 speakers left, so I can't ignore them. And one is Simon Parks, and he is quite brilliant, so he's always going to give a great talk. And the other is Colin Wolford, who has been investigating for many, many years what's called the alien autopsy. So those are 2 talks coming up. I'm very excited to hear them. This morning, Maria Wheatley did a fabulous presentation, and it really got into Turin and Prague and sort of the heart of darkness in the sort of occult, if you will, and in those cities and the ley lines and how these things are connected and dark magicians and how they work and so on. So that was one talk. I mean, this is just incredible stuff. And then we had a wonderful presentation by Mark Christopher Lee and his partner who joined him, whose name is Thompson. I think I'm forgetting his first name, but anyway, and they did a wonderful, actually it was almost comedic, but it was eye-opening at the same time. So it was much lighter than the earlier one, Maria's presentation, but in a completely different direction. But it's still taking the two together, it's great to, see the light and the dark, and to see the humor in what we're going through as a culture at this time.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That was Kerry Cassidy from Project Camelot. So go and check her website. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.